When building a squad, there are a couple of key aspects that you need to focus on to put a team on the road to success. You can focus on the demographic structure of the squad. You can look at the form and performance-based analysis. You can worry about transfer policies, you name it. But the demographic structure defines the capacity of managers to make up a balanced squad from the point of view of age, experience, contract length. So to guarantee sufficient long-term stability. Secondly, performance-based analysis refers to the manager's ability to identify the strengths and weaknesses in their team in order to find collective and individual solutions to improve results and anticipate any future problems that may happen for a club. Transfer policy defines the manager's capacity to renew the pool of players that are available to them and to optimize those players and maintain that over a long term. Group unity is one thing, the demographic balance and the performance levels. Ultimately, though, the aim is to have a talented squad with sufficient depth in it without having to deal with too many unhappy players complaining about being left on the bench. Roll today's bad boy titles. I think we talk a lot about squad depth, don't we? And we talk about, maintaining a specific standard of player that we're bringing in and, looking for the right players to add into this Moyes regime, whether they be a specific age, under 24, over 24. It's all about finding the right pieces to the jigsaw. And squad depth, which is what today's daily is about, is vital for us moving forward. And this is exactly where West Ham are at. This is exactly where we are at. Now, before I get started, I want to tell you a few things, tidy up a little few things, etc. Now, listen, you have to subscribe to the channel. I'm telling you why, because my favorite interview took place and is going on the channel very, very soon. Yes, we have got Pedro Obiang on the channel, currently of Sassuolo in Italy in Serie A, formerly of West Ham, of course, and he has some amazing things that he wants to get off his chest. And in particular, Adrian Obiang telling us all about Scamacca and how he was involved in the whole process, etc. And we got the go-ahead from his current club, Sassuolo, who gave us the go-ahead to put the content out, which is fantastic. And what an absolute gentleman. And it's just amazing to be able to talk to these people. Really, it is. It really is. So if you want to get access to that, you have to subscribe to the channel and you will be able to see that. So hit that subscription button now. It's vital that you do it because then you get to see when the content comes out and you know what time it comes out at as well. And we've got more where that's come from. Trust me, you want to be part of this because it is fantastic. But he is amazing. He really is. And it just gave me a buzz after talking to him. But anyway, I'll jump into the chat, see who's kicking about. We've got Evil Essex Boy. Hello to all. Hope you're well. Toby's in the house. Oh, yes. Come on, you irons. Don't know about Mctominay. We need attacking midfielder rather than a defensive midfielder. Mctominay for me. Yes. Maitland-Niles, not sure. Jordan Hayol. You like him, Vinny? I think he's a squad player at best. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. Can't see Mctominay coming here at all. Have to know from bloody hot Spain once again. Well, sorry for you, but it's not so. It's warmish here, but not roasting. Toby Sampson as a squad player. Richard Browning is saying Moyes needs to back new signings, not say that they're not ready. I think he does. I'm going to look into squad depth a little bit further here. We currently look as stable as a chocolate teapot. Yeah, it's on. I know. And I hope you like the new song we're using. Listen, I'm buzzing. I sing it all the time. That's why I played it a little bit long at the start. I was at the gym this morning and I actually had it on in the background. I was like, what is going on? I'm listening to the intro song for the West Ham Network, but it's a quality tune. I absolutely love it. Would love a skillful Brazilian. I wouldn't mind that, Vinny, but he's probably on over 100k a week. Well, stay tuned, and we'll get that to you as well. Moyes Krall's record is weird, so he signed Areola but does not play him or develop him. Very strange. And DGP's in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Moyes has lost it big time. We'll have to wait and see. 2 up, 2 down hammers. Afternoon to you. Pedro is a G. Yes, you can say that again. And wait till you see this shirt that he is wearing. Quality. Nice bloke, Pedro. He really was. Ludders is in the house. Good to see you. Listen, I think everyone and their aunt and uncle and granny and granddad and nanny and mum and dad and brothers and sisters are trying to get him. So listen, you just got to stay tuned and see what we can do. But we've got some really exciting stuff coming up for you, really do. And it's great to be able to give that to you guys as well. And I love the fact that Pedro came on because he's currently in the game. He's a current professional footballer. Apart from, not being well, and he talks about that as well. But he's back to full fitness, and that's really good to see. Hi, Helen. We need both attacking midfielder and a defensive midfielder, in your opinion. We've got Maka. It's a shame the manager doesn't back you. Pedro Obiang, future West Ham manager. Billy Jones saying confusing time, don't know how to feel. What's happened to Anton? No cap, shocker appearance. Laugh out. I know it's coming back. Don't you worry, the cap's coming back. It's just that does for now, doesn't it? It's just a bit wet and keeps it calm down. Peter, I'll give you 3 out of 10 for that chance, and I'm a bit being generous. Adrian saying afternoon, fellow Hammers, good to see you too. Trying to believe that Moyes is a grand plan, but his stubbornness is not to change things up. Baffles me. Absolutely. Darren Higgins, even in all trust, you are all well. Richard Cox in the house. Good evening or afternoon or morning or whatever time of day it is just now. Good to see you, Barry. Hi, Anton. I'm good, mate. Thank you very much. Hope you are well as well, Barry. And Moyes, is Moyes himself Moyes in or Moyes out? He's in, mate. He's in. I'm a bit concerned about the sluggish start, but Moyes has earned enough faith to turn it around. You are correct, mate. Maybe he want Biggs Frank's job. We played walking football pre-season, carried it onto the league, yeah, and it will change. It will change. I would really like Niles, to be honest. He's a really good player. And what is this rumour that the Belgium is flying in today? Hi from South Africa. Well, we'll see. We will see. So let me get started, though. Let's take a further look into squad depth from the eyes of an all-time great, Sir Alex Ferguson, who worked under a 4-point strategy. Size. Too few players can leave you short. This is something that we probably all know here now, of able players in critical phases of the season. Too many players can lead to dressing room mutiny. So we have to keep that in mind. Age. You need players from different age brackets, the right mix between young talents, players in their prime, and a few seasoned veterans. Contract duration. You want players to stay with the team for extended periods of time, not in and out within a year or so. And stability is important to have a stable squad with no personality clashes or complaining players and too many players moving around. And I think those 4 points are definitely key and capable. And Moyes has made me as a West Ham fan, see that. That's why I can give him time. I can back him. I'm not, if this was under the Pellegrini regime, under the Bilic regime, I wouldn't have been too happy about what's going on at West Ham right now. But Moyes has changed the mindset. The form hasn't been great. The form hasn't been great since December. But Moyes has said week in and week out since that point, it's not great. I want to bring in recruits, but I can't find the right players for it. Now he's finding the players that he wants to do. We're in the transitional period and we need to bear with that. And let's just see what it is. So let's look at the size of the squad first. Squad depth is definitely an important part of any demographic structure of squad building, especially when you're managing a team in a league with a fair amount of fixture congestion. So when you play 2 or more games every week, you're going to need plenty of players to keep challenging for those wins at every single front. You've got suspensions, you've got injuries, and just fatigue are going to wreak havoc, of course, over an often long and grueling season. So you're going to need a squad with sufficient enough depth. And we saw that laterally last season with West Ham. You can try to maintain larger squads, of course, but this will often prove quite difficult because players will demand playing time. And if you don't rotate them sufficiently, you can have a dressing room mutiny on your hands. And we saw that, I think, previously. I think that's where West Ham struggled with that transition of bringing lots of players in and being able to manage their game time and where their heads were at. And that's what I've always said has been one of the West Ham's biggest issues is the transition we're making to the next stage and how we can do that and how we can move on and how we can manage those egos or not so much egos in the team. Then you've got stability or you've got chemistry. You've got to have the stability of a team chemistry. It's a term that's rather all-encompassing, really, but as it focuses on a number of variables with a football, with a manager. But to be more exact, stability looks like the following factors. You've got adaptability. This is from the eyes of Alex Ferguson. Remember, you've got adaptability, you've got tactical familiarity, you've got personality, and you've got squad statuses. So if you look at adaptability, you need players that need to adjust to new surroundings and new tactical approaches when brought in from other clubs, especially if they are foreign. So we've got those players coming in just now. 7th summer signing yesterday in Emerson Palmieri, and they need to settle in and they need to understand the new regime and the new system. So it's going to take a little bit of time, and that may have a little knock-on effect to West Ham. Tactical familiarity, the entire team takes a hit on its tactical fluency when there's too many new players that are introduced at the same time. So a steady and stable environment suits the team better, and I think that's why we've saw a steady and stable approach to David Moyes' transfer policy, because he doesn't want to bombard the team with a dramatic amount of players instantly. And it's fine that we're saying we need squad depth, and I know we need squad depth, but maybe playing 3 or 4 players from new surroundings at once isn't what Moyes wants to achieve. And this is where patience for me, I know it's not you, put your comments in, let me know your real thoughts, but patience for me is the key factor here. Personalities, players with the same personalities go well together. As we know, clashing personalities tend to cause trouble, so that's why David Moyes obviously has his characteristic test that he does with all these players. And then you've got squad statuses. You've got too many captains or perceived captains on a ship that tends to receive or be a recipe for disaster. You've got lots of people talking about Declan Rice should be stripped of the captaincy. It's 3 games in. He's our best bloody player, and he is a leader on and off the park. He's just had a kid. Let's not underestimate all of that stuff. Declan Rice is the right man for the job, and I think he's more than capable of stepping up to the plate, and it'll take him time to adjust, as the rest of the team are as well. And any club with the ambition to grow and improve must have a manager who is capable of evaluating both individual and a collective performances and requirements. Individual performances depends on the clubs, that the players that they bring together, and do they have complementary characteristics, as well as on matching the footballer's profile with the mental, physical, technical, tactical skills that they've all got. That's requested to play in given position, and they have to have a style of play to match what the manager is looking for. Individual performances is influenced by, you could say, the full team configuration in general. So you can have a wonder player, but you can come into the team and the dynamics are all wrong and it's not going to be successful. So evaluating performances goes a lot further than just looking into which players are playing well for either their own team or other teams, and they are variables into consideration when you're looking at player profiling. This is again coming from, please let me remind you, this is coming from Alex Ferguson. I've read this intently, and it's massively interesting. I'm just trying to take attributes of what bits and bobs of what he's actually said about how you build a squad and bringing it to you. So he talks about attributes, he talks about versatility in roles, versatility in positions, and they go on and they say things like, realistically, any club of smaller stature can grow the fastest and safest by investing in talented young players under the age of 24, preferably from a league with a lower standard than their own, because it keeps the price low. Now, you could label such clubs as selling clubs, since they aren't able to hold on to their best players year after year, but that wouldn't be too far off the truth, as these clubs have to sell or risk losing their players for free, and thus losing their investment in players. For such a system to work, it is necessary for clubs to recruit suitable players at the lowest possible cost. So West Ham, again, taking everything into consideration, you can see how we are trying to fit that mold of progressively transitioning into a club that's going to challenge. And it doesn't look like that just now, because we've played 3, lost 3, not scored a goal. I can see the frustrations. I've got the frustrations. But the difference is that I'm giving the manager the time. That's what I want to do. So with that in mind, let's look at some of the players that could add real value to our squad depth, or even challenge the first team where necessary. First player up is this man. Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Now, apparently, West Ham could be getting this guy, or looking at this guy, for a cut price permanent transfer. But we've been joined by Bournemouth, Fulham, and lots of other European clubs who have been sniffing about for the young man. Now, Arsenal are expecting to move him on in the last week of the transfer window, because obviously the window shuts very shortly, and it could be a cut price move. It could be a loan, and they may just give him a 1-year extension with the option to buy after that. Now, the former West Brom loanee is in the final year of his contract, and he would be available. He is going to be available for a cut price, and a loan. A loan move could be an option, but I think Arsenal are going to want to get rid of the boy. In that position. Now, David Moyes has been crying out for versatility in his squad. So bringing in someone who can play at wing back as well as central midfield improves our ranks dramatically. And then everything you talk about, versatility, squad depth, this all ticks those boxes. Absolutely. Now, he might be looking for a new home if he's going to make a move. However, staying in London may be an option. So therefore, making the switch to West Ham may be a genuine, realistic option for him. And after experiencing the relegation scrap at West Brom, he then moved to Roma for a year. And he has obviously got some English international background experience for him as well. So who is he? He's an Arsenal Academy product. He's a central midfielder by trade, but he's excelling in right back and wing back roles over several seasons that he's played, having taken his chance by filling in at left back. Versatile, utility player, can play everywhere where you need him as well. What makes him so good? Then they say that the versatility underlines his intelligence. The former Arsenal manager, Arsene Wenger, praised his pace, tick box, and his very good recovery runs, tick box, and emphasising that defensively he's very strong, tick box. So there you go. He adds goals to his games, tick box. So he was born in northeast London. He was spotted by Arsenal scouts when playing in a park and joined the club's academy at 7. And he worked his way into the first team, also impressing on loan at second tier Ipswich Town back in 2015-16. So when did he make his debut? He made his senior debut in a 4-1 win against Galatasaray in December of 2014, replacing Aaron Ramsey at halftime and becoming Arsenal's second youngest player in the UEFA Champions League at the time. And back then, Wenger said for him to then go mark Wesley Sneijder tight. So he had to try and get close to him, and he was really nervous, but he doesn't think he went through his mind once when he was on the pitch. So Wenger says he's got so much intelligence, he's versatile, and he's got a huge amount of energy, and he's got all the tools to become a top-class midfielder. The problem you find is people may be asking, well, why are Arsenal potentially looking at getting rid of him? Well, you're talking about a club that are investing in their team, investing in players. Yes, they have this model of bringing in young players. They've got a very young squad, but sometimes you're going to have players that miss out and don't fit the system. But that doesn't mean they're not good players. It does not mean that they're not good players. They just have to fight in the right team that suits them. And this guy could be it as well. But so many people have a lot of plaudits for him. Mick McCarthy, former Ipswich manager who managed him, said he is a talented player. And there's no doubt in my mind that the country's got a quality player on their hands. Arsene Wenger said he believes he's the future. He can play left back, right back, central midfield, and of the three positions, maybe the least natural for him is his left back, but he adapts very quickly and is a good defender. He has that sense of one against one. He's very strong, he's very quick, and he's very quick recovery runs when he comes back, and he has lots to learn, experience, and he has to work on his heading as well. And now, Maitland-Niles says about himself, he says people thinks that he's too relaxed on the ball. But it's just him as a person. He's quite a relaxed person as well, but he wants to succeed to the highest level. So I think when you look at the versatility of this player and what he could offer West Ham, I think he ticks a lot of boxes and ticks a lot of boxes for squad depth. I really, really do. And at the age that he is, he ticks that box as well. So I'm going to jump into the chat. So many comments. It's ridiculous. I'm going to try my best to see what is actually happening here. Oh my word, how do I get it all? It's ridiculous. Scott, morning all. I think we are really going to like yesterday's signing. Yep, I do as well. Next up, creative midfielder. Could be Hans Vanaken, could be Conor Gallagher. I want Conor Gallagher. I want Conor Gallagher and Hans Vanaken, but I really want Conor Gallagher. Absolutely want him. We will have a mutiny without the bounty wound for the oldies out there. Peter, I loved those ads. I think we could get about 9 points for our next 4 games. If we beat Villa, then we'll kick on, I think. Stunners is an understatement. Moyes is 16-1 compared to Brendan Rodgers 1-2. It's not happening, Vinny, mate. It's not. Good to see you, Lee. Thanks for joining us. If Moyes goes back to Everton, he'll finish above us with 2 seasons. Don't be silly. Need a convincing win tomorrow and a win against Villa. We're deep in trouble with Chelsea, Spurs, Newcastle coming up. Garino, afternoon all. Royce is throwing his toys out the pram with regards to the booing. I haven't seen any attitude problems. Rice was pissed at losing on Sunday. Isn't that what you want from a captain? Absolutely. I think what people, he's young, he's naive, and yet I think he is a captain material, but he's going to make mistakes along the way. Look at the amount of times that we've had players and captains that have made mistakes along the way. Matthew Upson, Lucas Neal, Mark Noble, just to name a few, have all made mistakes along the way, and that's exactly what he'll do. He'll learn from it, and he'll get stronger and better from it. And he does care what the fans think. He wants to perform well for the fans. Watch John's take on West Ham Network. His take and stuff was spot on with ref, player, staff leaving and unrest. If we got signings down at the beginning of the window, we wouldn't be playing as bad right now. New players coming in late is always a bad idea. Get them settled in and wanted to work hard together. Barry, I don't think West Ham and other clubs around us are capable of getting those players in early. I really don't. I genuinely don't. If you listen to the Moyes interview, he says that West Ham are now trying to sign players that push us into the top six. But when we're trying to make that transition to sign those players into the top six, these players sometimes would hang about and wait to see if any other offers come in, because we're now challenging the better quality player. And he's not wrong. And then us as fans could turn around and say, well, park them and go and sign a player that wants to come for the club. Well, I get that, but those players that want to come for the club might not be at the same standard that we want to do to move up. So I don't think there's many clubs apart from the qualified top four that brought players in early. And I think Moyes, I agree with you. It's definitely a better tactic for me. I would want the players in early because you'd want them to gel, get to know it, understand each other. But I don't think we're at that stage where we can just go, do you know what? Let's just go sign that player. Because I think in the first week of the transfer window, he'll want to sign for us. It doesn't work that way, I don't think, with West Ham as well. Good to see Villa scored 4 yesterday. Yes, I know it was against Guernsey, but I don't think we could score 4 against them. Conceded, wasn't it? Yeah. Poor fish is swimming in Vaseline by the looks of it. I need to actually just put a block. I'll just do that, actually. That's what I'll do for the rest of the show. We have slowly bedded the new players in and lost all our games. Well, we haven't really officially bedded them in yet, really, have we? I mean, some changes are going to have to be seen this week, and I think that's going to happen. I really do. I'll be really shocked. I mean, I don't want to be sitting here doing the match day live and then shooting myself in the foot. But one of the biggest parts of the players and is the support of the fans. Losing that Sunday must have been gutting for them. They feel the pressure. I don't think they're feeling any joy right now. Absolutely. Good point. Moyes taking the Mickey. Mickey scored 5 goals in 32 years, the same as Dawson. The team is built around Antonio. I can't see him changing that. Your boy Panic Buys coming in before the window shuts. I'm off, not letting you drama queens ruin my day. We're 3 games in. So stay with me. Stay with me, Toby. Stay with me, Toby. Stay with me, Toby. Let me move on to the next part of the show then. And that is another player that we are linked to, and that's Mctominay from Man United. There's another name that's cropped up recently. He's 25-year-old, currently has 3 years left on his Manchester United contract with the option of a further year. And with the new signing that Manchester United have made in Camero from Real Madrid, does that mean Scott McTominay's future looks bleak at Manchester United? Would the 34 capped Scottish international be a smart addition for West Ham this summer? He is strong, he is a combative midfielder, and despite West Ham fans not wanting the Man United man, he could possess everything that Moyes is looking for in a midfielder. In 30 Premier League games last season, McTominay averaged 2.2 tackles, 1 interception, and 2 clearances per game. He also won 2.5 aerial duels per match. And during those appearances, he made 41 passes per game and averaged a recorded impressive completion rate of 86%. And he's an aggressive player, and he's tenacious in his tackle, excels well when he closes down on the opposition play through the middle of the park. And, you know, he could be available for a reasonable amount of money a week. Apparently, according to some of the sources online, he's only earning about 60 to 70k a week just now. And that's kind of a wage that doesn't really go against West Ham's, you know, recruitment policy as well. And there have been no recent reports indicating about what Erik Ten Hag is prepared to do. Is he prepared to let him leave the club with Casemiro's imminent or his arrival at the club? But he did have a good performance against Liverpool at the week, and I don't know if Manchester United would want to let him go. Plus, would they want to sell him to West Ham? A loan deal could be an option, but I can see why Moyes would look at him. I don't. You know, at the game of last year, West Ham Man United, was sitting with Man United fans, and they were all going on about McTominay, but he's not the same level as Declan Rice. He is absolutely not. But you need a player to maybe complement, and maybe he could be the right player to complement him as well. So what do you think? Is McTominay a player that you see coming to West Ham or not? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Worried all these new players are going to be on the mega wages. Read that Emerson was on 75k per week and wants 100k. Don't think it'll go down with the players like Suchek who wanted to rise and not had it. It's a good point. It really is a good point. But I do think that Moyes is managing those circumstances as well. Peter saying Longillo next younger out the door. Breaking news: Mr. Moyes wore a Mr. Bobby outfit in the press conference. He called gold and silver. Adam Cook, afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all well. Suchik hasn't played well enough to get a new contract. Ludders, he's been carrying since last season. Hi, Antonio. Unthinkable happens when we get rid of David Moyes. I'd love to see Scotty Parker. I think he'd be a perfect replacement. He's not going, though. I get it. I do like what Scotty Parker's doing, though. A lot of people say they love what Graham Potter's doing at Brighton as well, but nah, he's not leaving me. He's not. Question: we lost next 3. Would firing Moyes be a progressive move? In my opinion, as much as I hate losing, firing him would be a set as much back. I completely agree with you. We can't have knee-jerk reactions. We can't. I know the fan base would go mental. Why are we keeping him? The form is inexcusable over the last 30 games, etc. But we still can't. I get the form was over 30 games, but you have to take into consideration what's happened over the last 2 years. You can't just go sacking a manager after 6 games. You can't, especially when you've invested the amount of money we've invested. It would be, in my opinion, a ridiculous decision as well. Only 25 likes. Get those thumbs up. We've got a lot more than that now, Ludders, and I can't see how many people are liking it. So please get on that for me as well. Evil Essex Boys saying difference between Moyes we trust is Moyes out apparently is 3 straight losses. Mad, isn't it? We will be going into a 3-4-2-1 system with Skamaka leading the line. Maitland-Niles will provide immediate competition for Safal while Ashby grows into the squad player and regular starter as well. Thrill says, can't wait to see all these players sit on the bench and they can prove their Premier League worth. We need Dawson back as soon as possible to shore up the defence. 6th to 10th is going to be a battle. Fish police are on the way to take out the checks. Question, have any of the people in the chat ever seen as good transfer window as this? I've been a fan for a quarter of a century. I've never seen one as good as Near ever. I mean, I've seen a few where we signed quite a few players. You know, last season at Upton Park, moving into the new stadium. Sorry, the season after that when we signed like 7 or 8 players. There was an excitement, a buzz, but the quality of players were not great. They were not great at all. And then we had the one where we the transfer window where we signed Antonio and what's his name, Guy Demel, and a few other players in that window as well. Was quite a kind of positive outlook window. But the difference was we were signing players very quickly and getting them over the line, and I don't think there was a huge amount of due diligence done at the time, where Moyes seems to be doing his due diligence to bring the right players in. That's why when you look at these players here we're talking about, you can see why they fit the mould as well. If we play the team we played against Brighton against Villa, we'll lose for sure. Did Emerson play pre-season for Chelsea as he hadn't had any league time? That's a good question, but he was involved in their pre-season out there as well. Moyes wants Mctominay as he's played centre-back. He's Scottish like Moyes, which might help. He can translate for the new players and explain what Moyes is saying. Adam's saying, let's not get carried away. It's 3 games in. Let's see where we are after 10 games to start for worrying. Time for Moyes to start working from home. McTominay started ahead of Fred in the last game. Why would they sell him? No, I know. I'm just saying, you know, it's a player that we are linked to, and what could he do as well? Our bench is nice and warm, and unlike for sports for free. Moyes for Lampard, swap on the cards. Could you imagine? Oh my God. Peter, settle down, according to Scott. How many expensive pints have the players been drinking before they go on the pitch as well? Derek M is saying, why are there so many vloggers? I'm not a vlogger making excuses for Moyes. Ask yourself why 2 good staff members have left. Ask yourself why they've been shocking since January 22. Well, the first one was Stuart Pearce. He clearly came out and said why he was leaving the club, and it was nothing to do with that. It was absolutely nothing to do with that. Alan Irvine, again, family reasons as well. I think West Ham have just been unlucky in that department. I'm not making excuses. I think we're all entitled to our opinion. I just think that we are in a transformation period, and I don't think we can expect instant success because we're not at the highest level. We're not in the top 4. We don't have access to the money that those teams have got. So we're transitioning, and we've got to do it slowly but surely, and I completely agree with it. I do. It's my opinion, but I do. I really do. Derek, it's because some don't like the different opinions to their own. The transformation we've seen at all parts aspects of the club over the past years has seen being significant. Second, Moyes is throwing your toys out of the plan. I do agree with that. Yeah, I do. Pram. Yeah, I do. Jan, good to see you. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining us. Right, next one. I'm going to move on to another player who could add squad depth for us, and that is Flamengo's Lazaro. Now, the Flamingos vice president, Marcelo Bratz, has admitted that West Ham made a bid for Lazaro, but we must improve our initial offer for the player. Now, he is a 20-year-old Brazil youth star, and they want closer to £9 or £10 million for a player that scored 4 times in his last 5 Brazilian Serie A appearances. Now, the 20-year-old has established himself in the Flamengo squad over the past 2 seasons, and he's got more than 50 appearances under his belt with 8 goals he scored in the process. And indeed, over his 20 appearances last season, only 9 of which came as starts. The talented player has some eye-catching numbers as to go with that. He scored 4 goals, registering 2 assists, creating 2 big chances for his teammate, as well as taking on an average of 1.5 shots per game and making just under 1 key pass a game, completing 1 of his dribbles per game as well. He's a versatile forward who can operate from an attacking midfielder on either wing and even as a centre forward. And he's also impressed over all of his victories so far, his performances so far this season. So Lazaro could be another player that could add squad depth. Is this another player that, West Ham could miss out on and could become a world-class player in the future? Who knows? But there are 3 players there, and that's why I wanted to focus on these 3 players, because on paper, you see them potentially as squad depth players, but they can challenge if necessary, and we'll see what happens with that. Garino says Irvin and Pierce left due to travelling time and demands on the family. Stephen is saying because David Moyes saved us from relegation, given the club 2 good seasons, not going to throw him to the wolves just yet. We need someone to replace Pierce to help lift and rejuvenate the squad. Also, Noble retiring, massive blow. Dither and Dave, he's become more appropriate. Signings are slow to come in, substitutes are slow to come on, tactical changes are non-existent. Same players week in and week out. This club is okay. Scott is saying, question, we finished 14th, go to the conference final. Was that a bad season? It would be the best 3 seasons of our history. It's a good question. Ask that. Matt, that's got Noble's name all over it. We must be short of cash. We're offering less than what the clubs want for these players. I don't know, mate. I think we're just trying to play the game a little bit and see what we can do. I think losing Pierce was the biggest loss. We haven't replaced him, in my opinion. We need to get him in. Tommy Black is saying, personally, I don't trust players from South America to deliver in the Premier League. I don't want Lazaro. I'd rather go for a championship player. 10 million for him is mad. Lazaro would help the squad. I think there are plan A's and B's. I believe Moyes wants Gallagher, and if he does, I'd be absolutely over the moon as well. It would be good to bring in Sarr, good attacking option on the right, giving Bones some competition. Lazaro looks like a Sullivan signing. Who was that one he brought in? Paulista or something like that? What was the boy called again? I can't remember. He turned up and he was just there, the Brazilian lad. But we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I did do. There's a video going out this morning. That's all you need to know on Hans Vanaken. So make sure you go and check that out. It's just a short, sharp video giving you all the information on what Hans Vanaken could bring to West Ham as well. And if you are just joining me, I think it's tonight, you need to go check out this interview. You have to subscribe to the channel to be able to see when and what time this is going out at. But what an interview this is. Pedro Obiang, currently of Sassuolo in the Serie A and former West Ham player. And of course, that rocket he scored against Spurs whilst playing for our beautiful West Ham. So make sure you do go and check that out. Like I said, if you are new around here, please hit the subscribe button as well. Please hit the thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Let us know your feedback. I've tried my best to get through so many comments. I've had to skip through some because I do have to go back to work. But it has been fantastic having you join me today. I want you to all stay safe and back the team, and I know you will. And fingers crossed we can get this, get some points on the board ASAP. But as we normally do, we always say thanks to all our people who are our channel members. Thanks to all you subscribers as well. If you are interested in becoming a channel member, click the join option on the channel, and we will see you at 5 o'clock for the Hammers headlines. Come on, you Irons.
like a family tree. Part of you